Hey guys, what's going on? And welcome back to another episode on That's Mad. Now today I'm going to be showing you how to get such a great finish from a rattle can. Now I'm respraying my Super S here, where I'm respraying a Bermuda Blue. I'm using these squirts from White Knight's Paints, an excellent product. As you can see here, what I'm doing is I'm just painting inside the door cards as I want to get the full respray effect. I've taken off the doors and remove the trims. As you can see here, I'm pulling it all apart. The more you take apart, the less you have to mask, and the less you take apart, the more you have to mask. It's really trying to make a compromise. You see here, I'm wiping it down, giving it a quick sand, and then using a piece of cardboard, I like to block off everything that I don't really want to get paint on. You can see that on the first clip as well, as I was using it to not get paint on the inside. So once the door here is nice and finished, I'm just going to show you around. It's a really beautiful finish. I've done a coat of clear on top of the colour. I've got a full respray here, and that really just completes the full finish. I've got all around in the boot, I've got all around in the actual windows and the doors, put all the doors back on, and now we're going to start moving on to the main panels of the car. So what I have here is I have the front bumper, which I'm going to use to demonstrate. The front bumper is probably one of the hardest parts to sand on the car, just because it is so complex. You can see here I'm using a sander and just a couple of sandpapers as well, just to get the bumper as smooth as possible. So prep is very important. If you don't do the prep, you're not going to get a great finish. As they say, when you're doing respray videos, you really want to get a good finish, so it's all in the prep. Now, I'm starting to paint here. It's going to be a lot quicker, but I will break it down later in the video, so please stay tuned. But this is the technique in a nutshell. There are 3 steps to painting with rattle cans on a car. You want to do 3 coats. One is going to be a super light coat, so you're just going to get the paint on there. The second coat, you're going to get all the colour on there, so there's no previous colour, in this case white. And then the third coat will be a full-on coat to get a thick leather base coat on there. And then we're going to come along like I'm doing here with a clear can and do exactly the same. 1 light coat of clear, followed by getting a clear all over, all full coverage, and then we're going to get a heavy coat of clear. This is very different to when you're using a spray booth with a proper spray gun, as we want to get the finish to the same quality. You can't use the same techniques because the rattle cans don't have the same nozzle. More on that in a bit. So here it's just showing off the nice shine that you get when done right. Now, onto the main car. What we're going to do is we're going to wet it down, just in prep for sanding. So we're going to sand down the whole car. You want to get off all contaminants. You want it all nice and smooth. The reason for this is, again, it's all in the prep. If it's not really smooth to touch, you're going to notice it on your paintwork, and that's not what we want. So the last step before painting is masking off. So after this, we get straight onto painting. Now, this is the first step, as I said before. What we're going to do is we're going to do it panel by panel. We want to do light coats of colour. What this will do is the paint will get on there, it will get tacky, so then when we do a second coat for getting all the colour on there, it will stick. So it's very light coat. Here we're doing the second, where we're just trying to get all the colour on there. Again, this is not the final coat. In this, you don't want to get any runs. You never want to get any runs. It's just really hard to get with runs. So we're just trying to go nice and light here, but we want to get full coverage. We don't want to see any white at the end of this coat. This is one of your most important coats, because without doing this one, you're not going to get a great finish. And again, we're just going around the rest of the car, making everything has full coverage. You can do this panel by panel, so I like to do the roof first, followed by the doors, and etc, etc. You don't want to do the whole car in one hit, so you don't want to do a light coat on everything, because you won't get enough time. It's a very short drying time on these cans, so we want to do it quite quickly. Again, this is a change from normal spray booth. With this, you want to do very small strokes. You want to just get full coverage. You can't get the good sway that you do with a gun, so we're just going to go very small and just very focused. A good way to see if you get full coverage is doing it straight on. A good way to see if you get a thick coat is look from the side. By looking from the side, like we are here, you can see when it's got full coverage, because it looks very wet and it looks very shiny, which is what we're after. So this is our final coat. What we're trying to do here is we're trying to get it as thick as possible. You can see when the paint is going on, it is becoming shinier and shinier, and it looks wetter and wetter. That is what we want. You want to go really thick on this last coat, but not too thick that you get runs. You want to get basically on the point of having a run. This is where you get the best quality. If you don't do this, if you skip this step and you do 2 coats, you're not going to get the great finish. You want a really thick base coat. The problem with cans is that they dry too quickly. So you need to get that thick base coat on as soon as possible, like I've done here. Again, do it panel by panel for the best results. Moving on to clear coat, what we're going to do is exactly the same. So here on the front bumper, I am doing one very light coat of clear, then straight onto a medium coat, so getting full coverage, and then followed by the thick coat. Again, try avoid runs and do this in 3-minute breaks. So after your light coat, wait 3 minutes. And again, this varies, different products, different cans. If you're not in Australia, you might not be able to get White Knights, so read back of your can for instructions. This one recommends 5 minutes, but I found the best is 3. And here I just like to show off the finished product. So this has 3 coats of clear and 3 coats of base, and you can just see the quality. You don't need to use a spray gun to get a good finish. It is all the same paint coming out the nozzle. It's all in the technique that you do. So this concludes the very, very brief tips and tricks on how to spray paint your car with rattle cans. This video gets a great response. I will do a full respray video when it comes time on my Micra Ute. That's a ways down the track as I have to actually finish the Ute. But yes, this is the tips and tricks. If you guys want to see a full-on how-to, step-by-step, all the way through from start to finish, it will be a long episode. If you want to see one of those, let me know by leaving a like. Don't forget to subscribe and share to your friends. And I'll see you all next time.